We're gonna listen to MrMattyPlays as he talks about the Xbox. Look, I've been in the Suicide Squad world, okay? So I haven't really been following this Microsoft and the internet dying over, like, what's happening to my plastic box? My dedication to Xbox, what's gonna happen? Like, I haven't been really following this because I've already clocked in 5 years ago on Microsoft what their business plan is. So I was just sitting back waiting for it to happen, and now here it is happening. So I'm kind of over it, right? I'm on the beach sipping my daiquiri over here.
Well, gee golly gosh, slow news week, huh? Is this what it was like with Sega leaving the console market? Because I was too young to register any of that. I had a Dreamcast and I loved it, but I had no idea any of that was going on. I was way too young. But for me, I remember picking up my original Xbox with my dad in Best Buy, and to think that I'm going to live through them potentially exiting the console business in a meaningful way is crazy to think about. And Xbox has watched these rumors spiral for weeks and weeks and weeks, which was largely irresponsible because there should have been some moment somewhere to put out the fire, stop the bleeding, but they let it keep going and going and going, and it was...
Yeah, I don't like how... I think Xbox is dropping the ball because of the rumors and stuff that are happening, and they didn't come out and say anything until Phil Spencer put that tweet out yesterday. But I thought it was a little weird that they did what they did. But, you know, because when there's smoke, there's fire. And when one person does it and then all of a sudden it starts to run with it, you're like, is this real? And then no one says anything, but a lot of outlets started to run with it. I don't know. It's hard to say now in the industry.
Last night, February 4th, that just everything on social media came to a head. I was sitting here just pounding out my game script for like 5-6 hours. My Discord mentions light up. What happened? And I caught up.
Jojo says, but how did it go from releasing a game on PlayStation to Xbox's leaving the console scene? I don't know. I feel like this is like, those of you that are married, you guys have wives that are like this, where, like, if you sneeze, like, all of a sudden they think that you're, like, you have, like, pneumonia, where all of a sudden you just sneeze because, like, they take it to the next level. They're like, bless you. Are you sick? You have a flu? Are you okay? You want some medicine? It's like, why don't you calm down? It's just like the pollen was, I just sneezed, right? I feel like that's what's happening with the internet right now. I feel like the internet, they're like, we're coming out with what, like, it started with Hi-Fi Rush coming to PlayStation, and now it's Xbox's closing forever. like crazy leap. It's a crazy leap.
And like I said, Xbox may be leaving the console business. Phil Spencer wrote on his Twitter account, "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned." And the way I look at it is that since there was no manner of any kind of putting out doubts or fear or trepidation about the future of the platform, it likely means that there is truth, strong truth, to the rumors and the reports that have been ongoing. Not just that Xbox games are going to PlayStation and Switch, which I think people were kind of ready for with the smaller games, but major...
I love how people are like, oh, we're all ready for... Everyone was in denial before, though, right? Everyone was in denial that, no, it's never going to happen. They're keeping the third party, blah, blah, blah. Again, I said this 5 years ago. I said their games are going to be on a basis, and I said that they're going to move to the cloud gaming and Game Pass because that's their business model. I said, and each game that comes out will be exclusive for a period of time, and then they'll probably put it to PlayStation down the road.
Tentpole exclusives that you thought were building blocks for Xbox are leaving the platform sooner than I think anyone expected, sooner than anyone I think who's within the ecosystem deeply is comfortable with. The meltdowns on social media have shown us that much. And they're going to PlayStation. I'm talking games like Indiana Jones, Starfield, and much more. We're going to get into a plethora of reports here, so let's not delay any further, right? Let's begin at the top with, I think, what is the backbreaker, and it came from Tom Warren of The Verge with an article titled, "Microsoft Weighs Launching Indiana Jones on..."
Why is this a loss, though? If it's just Indiana Jones, let's just take it at face value, right? Indiana Jones, A Great Circle, could arrive on PlayStation 5 months after the Xbox launch. Okay. Like, just take that exactly what the headline says. Okay. Great Circle. Let's say it comes out in July. Okay, you're an Xbox person. You have the Xbox. The game comes out on Xbox. It's on Game Pass. You didn't pay for it. You play it on Game Pass. Okay, and then 6 months later, it comes to PlayStation. I can't believe it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. The future of Xbox is everyone gives $20 a month, no particular reason. Success. The most people who buy consoles don't care. Most hanging on YouTube and Twitter. I just don't get it. Like, just read the title. Why is this an earth-shattering title? Microsoft weighs in on launching Indiana Jones on the PlayStation 5. Indiana Jones: The Great Circle could arrive on PlayStation months after Xbox launch. Okay, that's a win for the people on Xbox because they get it first. That's a win for customers because it's on all platforms, right? All consoles. It's a win for PlayStation because they get to play it as well. Can someone explain to me how this is earth-shattering?
On the PS5. They say Bethesda's upcoming Indiana Jones game is also tentatively set to launch on Sony's PlayStation 5 console. We got our first glimpse of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle during the Developer Direct last month, where it was announced for Xbox and PC. A source familiar with Microsoft's plans tells The Verge that Bethesda is also considering bringing it to PS5. A new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is
A new multiplayer approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside of Microsoft. What they said years ago. It's a case-by-case scenario.
Emerging inside Microsoft, we're told, with the company weighing up which titles will remain exclusive and others will appear on Switch or PlayStation 5 in the future. Indiana Jones appears to be part of this new wave of multi-platform games. While Bethesda will launch its Indiana Jones game first as an Xbox console exclusive, it's currently set to have a rather short period of exclusivity, we're told.
Okay, I'm still trying to comprehend. How is this a problem? Let me read it for you, okay? While Bethesda will launch its Indiana Jones game first as an Xbox console exclusive, it currently set to have a rather short period of exclusivity, we're told. Okay, I'm still waiting to see what the earth-shattering news is. Okay, it's coming here first and then to you later, okay?
A release for PS5 is being considered for some months later, with
in the eyes of an Xbox fan, it decreases the value of having an Xbox since they're giving it out what people come to Xbox for. You're still getting the game first. Let's read it together again slowly. I'm not saying this for you, Krebsy, right? While Bethesda will launch Indiana Jones games first, keyword there, first, as an Xbox console exclusive, it currently set to have a rather short period of exclusivity, we're told. So what's the difference? I don't have a PlayStation 5. Spider-Man came to PC a year later, a year and a half later. I have to wait, and then I bought it on a different system. What's the difference? Months to a year? What's the difference? Okay, great. I'm a PlayStation owner. I don't own an Xbox. Oh, cool. It's coming to PlayStation. I'm an Xbox owner. Oh, cool. It's coming to Xbox. What? Another person gets to play the game that I already purchased?
Bethesda tentatively targeting a December 2024 launch for the Xbox and PC versions. Exact timing and platform availability for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle could change, particularly as Microsoft's new multi-platform approach for Xbox games hasn't been finalized. And they mentioned here about what's going on with Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, which were the first reports of Xbox games.
That's another one. Sea of Thieves been out on the console for 5 years. 5 years. That's not enough time to have exclusivity?
Going to PlayStation. Yeah, when you think of major IP games coming to Xbox, the first kind of shadow of doubt appeared with Blade. When you looked at what was happening with Blade, there were question marks about its exclusivity because there was no comment from Bethesda, no comment from Xbox, no Game Pass.
Because people want justification of the box they bought. Exclusive definitely do that. But I don't understand. That's like getting upset for you have Netflix, you pay for Netflix, right? And Netflix has an exclusive to watch Mario first. And then you don't have Netflix. You have HBO Max. And then 6 months later, it comes to HBO Max. Should I be mad as a Netflix person that now HBO Max gets to watch the same movie that I get to watch first? Now, I guess maybe because I don't own a box that I had to pay for ahead of time. But then it goes into, I bought a television for $1,000. You bought the same television for $500 6 months later. Should I be upset at the company for selling that television for cheaper? I just don't understand the loyalty here.
Logo. The big question was, why are you taking away from your own excitement? And I think we now know why, because there were discussions on.
I'll look at that in a second, Paul.
That point of what will be exclusive and what won't be. What I think is going to be the most fascinating to watch incompetent communication Xbox tackle, because I like some of the things they've done, but man, their communication for years has been garbage. And I am going to watch with my popcorn in hand and see how they attempt to explain to the purchaser how some games will be exclusive but others won't. What the
Hi, we here at Xbox really appreciate your business, and we think that more people should play our games in more areas. So, moving forward, case-by-case scenario, some of our first-party title games will come to Xbox Game Pass 6 months early, and then it will come to the other platforms so more people can play more games. How dare you, Phil?
Rationale is why there's even a reason to own an Xbox and how many people.
So don't own an Xbox. Don't own an Xbox. They don't care. Why do people still stuck on this old tradition? I feel like the fans are like the old people that run television network, right? They have streaming services now, but they have to make the show 22 minutes long because they have to put ads in it. There's no ads. There's a subscription model for your content. You can literally make that show 30, 40, 50, 100, 3 hours. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
People are going to be so pissed off when we talk about Starfield here and how it leaves Xbox. I feel bad for the people who bought into Bethesda Game Studios and said, you know what? That's a compelling exclusive right there. I got to pick that up. And they buy their Series X or their Series S for that game. And
here you go. Ready? Here's what's going to happen with the Xbox community. If you're a person that's upset about this, you have an Xbox. You already paid the $500 for your Xbox, or the $400 for your Xbox, or your $300 for your Xbox. They already have you by the cojones because you've been playing games on Game Pass for the last 3-4 years. You don't want to pay. You're like, I'm a fan of Xbox. I don't know what you're doing to me, Phil. I'm never going to buy your stuff again. They're like, okay, it'll be on the phones, the tablets, the television set, the PlayStation 5, and we're going to keep releasing games. And if you're a PlayStation 5 owner and we have a first-party title, Blade comes out, and now it's on PlayStation 5 6 months after it comes out on Xbox, you're done with Xbox. But Blade comes out, you're like, oh, I'm going to buy Blade now on PlayStation because I'm a convert. I've left Xbox. They hurt me. Here. I'm pointing to my wallet, not my ass. Right? They've hurt me. Those are the points that they've hurt me at. Okay, so now I'm going over to PlayStation, and I'm going to buy their games over there now instead. Okay.
Then you see this a couple months later. That's got to sting. But when you look at the quarterly earnings reports,
Titanic music playing. I love it. Love it, chat.
You see how content and services were up, mostly thanks to Activision Blizzard, and the game revenue was up mostly thanks to Activision Blizzard. But guess what only went up 3%? Console hardware sales. And I think it just shows that with console hardware being in line with the sales of the Xbox One right now, it just shows to me that big games like Starfield or the knowledge of Activision Blizzard being injected into the ecosystem moved a lot of games and moved a lot of subscription services, but it didn't move many consoles at all. With that, I believe Xbox is done pretending they're in.
I think there's two sides here, Luke. I think the PlayStation fans think that Xbox is going bye-bye, right? And then the Xbox fans that are upset about this all of a sudden think that something is wrong for having more people be able to play their game, right? I think both sides have actually lost their mind. But whatever.
In the console war, which they have been losing 2-1 for 2 generations straight now, and are going headfirst in a direction that makes more sense for their business, which is something that I don't think many people are ready for. If I were to have a theory, bit of speculation here, my read of the situation is that there is a little schism ongoing inside Microsoft right now. I see the bean counters like your Satya Nadella, your Tim Stewart's, versus like the gamers in Sarah.
Does he have his PlayStation propped up on like 2 other pieces of what? What does he have him on top of? Why do you have your PlayStation? Is that a PlayStation 4? Why are you doing that to your PlayStation?
Sarah Bond and Matt Booty and Phil Spencer, the faces that people know and love. And when I look at comments that Phil has made versus what Tim Stewart has said in the past, where Tim Stewart especially was like a fire starter in this sense, and then Phil pretty much erasing his comments shortly thereafter, and then Satya Nadella, where he said that Xbox games are coming to Xbox and consoles.
This is blown out of proportion. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? So it says, we think we now have the ability to what was always set out to do, which is build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms, which is Xbox and consoles. But they already have that. They bought Activision. Call of Duty is already on the other consoles. So in context, we think now we have the ability to do what we always set out to do, which is build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms, which is Xbox and consoles. So all the games that they've made for Activision Blizzard, which is across platforms, those are there, okay? Then there's the new games, which they said years ago that case-by-case scenario that they could also make across the board for other consoles as well, right? Like, I don't understand.
Which pretty much spells out what it is. I see that Microsoft is winning over because as Xbox has climbed the ladder, as now the third biggest part of Microsoft.
Right, Soy? PlayStation gets a 1-year exclusive. It's good on you. Xbox gets it. They're shutting down. It's like, what? What are we talking about?
They see money in it, and it's time to extract all the value out of it. That doesn't make it okay.
Dumpy Koala says, I thought the goal for Phil was to enable gamers to play everywhere. That's right. That's what he's doing. At least that's what we think he's doing, right?
So to say, I'm not afraid to say that I think Xbox is making potential.
I have a good friend who has his PlayStation 5 on top of a fucking milk crate. Why? What? People do some weird things with their electronics.
An Xbox One era level mistake here. I do think the future is without a walled garden, but much like with the Xbox One, I also think Xbox is way ahead of the curve on this one. I don't think they're ready. And certainly I think fans were pretty willing to accept that this would be their fate. Like eventually Xbox games are going to leave the platform thanks to Game Pass, and how to sustain that you need to get more subscribers and you have to go to every service, every screen, every piece of hardware imaginable. But I think that pivot people were expecting was going to come at the end of the generation when a
milk crate idea would provide a good airflow, or it could fall off easily and break. I don't know.
Vision had been complete. A mid-generation overnight pivot after one of your biggest years of continuous exclusives, from Forza to Minecraft Legends to Hi-Fi Rush to Starfield, and yes, we'll even throw Redfall in them.
I mean, look at it. He's literally... I don't know why this is... He's talking about stuff, and I'm worried about his PlayStation on top of the Jenga tower that he's got going on here.
To now this says to me that the higher-ups looked at some sort of number or lack of sustainability and said, yeah, we're going to lay a ton of people off. We're going to reorganize this gaming business, and we are going to build this thing to last, and we are going to do that by selling it to everybody. I have some more thoughts. I'll get into that shortly, but it's not just IP that you never knew about that we're going to be exclusive on Xbox. It's like long-standing stuff, such as Video Game Chronicles reporting here. Microsoft is reportedly considering bringing Gears of War to PlayStation. That's...
Oh, no. A series that's been out for Xbox for 20 years. You're going to bring it over to the other systems. Oh, the horror.
According to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who was elaborating on recent claims that Microsoft is working on a new initiative to release more Xbox exclusive games on other console platforms. Quote, the other one that I've heard that's definitely under consideration, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it's in talks, is Gears of War, end quote, Grubb said on Monday. Grubb also said that Microsoft was at one point planning to publicly explain its new initiative at the end of February, but that given the mounting speculation, there's a chance of an official announcement could be brought forward, which we just talked about at the start of this video. So yeah, I'd say there's 3 series that are synonymous with Xbox. My lovely co-host,
Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Lord Cognito always called it the burger, fries, and shake combo. Halo, Forza, Gears.
Boom! That's exactly right. And you know what? Halo doesn't really matter because me and Sarge talked about this. Halo is not the franchise anymore that it used to be. It's just another game on Game Pass. That's why Starfield was the new thing on the box and whatnot. Okay? Halo, if it goes to other platforms, it's already on PC. Who cares? Okay? Who cares? It's a game that's been on the platform for 20 years. For 20 years. It's okay if someone else gets to play it now.
And the idea of those leaving the platform definitely spells the end of Xbox, as it is the end of console wars. Gears of War, I know it may...
It's the end of console wars. In your headcanon, sure. There's never been a console war. That's for people to justify what they're spending their thing on. It's a status symbol of what you have and what I have. Well, here, you quads. If I have all the systems, I think that's better than having one system. I don't know. Call me crazy.
May not be as, if you will, prominent or recognizable as Halo. That going to PlayStation, throw in the white towel. That's it. And the problem with that I have is some people will receive the lack of desire for Xbox to go anywhere as like this fanboyish clinging on to what once was. No, Xbox, don't go. I love you. There's 2 points I'd like to make with this. The first being that when it comes to Xbox and their exclusives, I get why they need to exist because it gives your brand identity. When you dissolve those, then there is less competition. Look at what PlayStation's doing right now. And I don't say this to drag them unnecessarily, right? But I look at what they're doing now with their focus on remakes, remasters, very little new IP, and you look at the era during PS4 with like Gravity Rush 2 and Concrete Genie, and you look at games like Puppeteer. You look at these types of games
remakes
from PlayStation that were really fun, creative new things, and they're scarcely seen. Maybe Astrobot
sequels
when it launched on the PS5 is a great example, but otherwise, nothing else. Nintendo is about Disneyifying all of their IP. Here's the latest Mario game, the dude you've known for over 30 years. Here's a new spin on Zelda. Here's another broken...
Right, Sarge. If you have all the systems, you win. Gotta collect them all. Gotta collect them all.
Pokemon game that you're too baited by nostalgia to ignore. And they're just going to keep rinsing and repeating that with scarcely new IP. The exciting thing about Xbox being involved in a meaningful way...
I lost this round because I didn't spend $500 to get a PlayStation 5. Oh no.
Not just as a games publisher, but as a platform holder, is they were forced to evolve and create new, exciting IP. And by acquiring those studios, which was something that I was definitely behind, those studios would be able to chase new and exciting visions that previously were unthinkable because they were limited by traditional games business.
That game good? What was that game called again? Sure, that game was called.
That was what was exciting for Xbox. They served as a barrier breaker in ways that creativity could be unlocked, especially when you account for Game Pass, a way to monetize games and fun games, particularly in the AA and indie space. Maybe AAA, the game would be different, but instead they were going more internally focused by taking their own games instead of paying...
Right, it starts with a P, Krebsy, but I forget what it was called.
...for other big AAA games to put them on the service. So it seemed like things were finally coming to fruition, and when you look at now where...
Intimate, thank you. All turn. 1 point for all turn. All turn wins today. No, Z, now you're just copying. Mo, you guys are too late. All turn's quick to the draw. 1 point for all turn. All the rest of you get 0 points.
They're at, and if they're going to make an exit, it is going to make, I think, gaming worse in some ways. I think that when you remove that direct competitor from PlayStation, who is already...
It's like, whose line is it anyway? I'll ask questions. You guys answer. I just give random points out and see who wins.
...sitting nice and cozy in an Apple-like demeanor, it will get worse. What is going to provoke them to want to do anything more, especially when Xbox is making their games, right? Even if Xbox is making way more money, I truly feel, and I don't know how diehard PlayStation fans are going to feel. I'm seeing, again, meltdowns all over on social media, so it's been a game of extremes from my input, but I do feel like everyone loses in this instance. I don't think Xbox is perfect. I think they suck in a ton of ways. No doubt about it, as we've highlighted on this channel.
Sure, they do suck in certain ways. Hence why it's better to have multiple platforms to play the game that you want to play. If it's a first-party title and you buy that first-party title, Xbox is lightening the load a little bit. They're like, hey, our first-party games are going to go over to the other platforms as well. You don't even have to own our thing anymore. Or you can get them first on our platform exclusively for a couple of weeks, months, whatever.
The way they've handled some of their primary first-party games is embarrassing. And the fact that they did all this damage to themselves and it could have been avoidable is perhaps the biggest shame of it all. But I feel like having them in the industry is necessary because I fear who fills the void. Is it Apple? Is it Tencent? At least Xbox has a foothold in game.
Krebsy, that's the best thing you've said. Xbox doesn't give two shits about the market and will do whatever it makes to make most cash. That's exactly right. And Microsoft knows how to make money.
Gaming for generations. I worry about what happens if they leave. Lastly, we have the reports of Starfield, which come from Xbox Era, where they write, for many weeks now, rumors have persisted regarding Microsoft's intentions to release a number of first-party games, namely Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, on rival platforms, according to our sources who have asked to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to talk about company plans. That list...
Oh, of course! That's always what businesses do. Businesses make money. They don't care about you or me. They don't give a shit, right? If you think for one instance there's loyalty from the business, see, the business looks at you for loyalty, but the business, right? The loyalty that there's no loyalty opposite way. This is a one-way relationship, okay? You love the IP. You love the company, but the company doesn't know your name, right? Does not know your name. They know your credit card. They'll come back to you. Hey, we know you like this. You want this too?
Of games also includes Bethesda Game Studios Starfield. According to sources, we understand that currently Microsoft are planning a launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5.
Salty, I didn't see what you said before. It says Halo's Gears and some other titles that also Xbox identity, and giving them the way considering PlayStation only give to PC and the Xbox consoles they see is a massive loss to Xbox identity. Yeah, but why is it okay for me to play Mario on an iPhone? Why is it okay for me to play a Sega game, right, on a competitor, right? They went third party or whatever. Right? Again, I'm not saying Xbox is doing this. I'm saying they're going to do this and more, right? Like, I don't understand why people are so upset. They get attached. This is not the first time this has happened.
5 post the release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC, which is on target to arrive at some point later this year. We've also been informed that Microsoft have made additional investments in PS5 dev kits to support ongoing development efforts, adding further fuel to the fire. There could be some level of rationale to this because some Bethesda games were in development over on PlayStation and then Xbox came in and X'd them down, and so they may be just double dipping on those investments that were previously made to ensure that they maximize their...
Here's the funny part that I think is funny. PlayStation, we talked about this yesterday, right? PlayStation sees you and says, okay, here's the PlayStation, and you buy the PlayStation, right? And this is not making fun of anyone, right? I'm showing you what their business model is. PlayStation says, here's the PlayStation 5. We're like, oh, we only can sell 120 million of these. And then they're like, how do we make money off the people that are loyalists to us, right? And they're like, well, what about if we make a VR headset? Okay, great. They sell that to you for $500. Then they go back to the person that's still giving them money. They're like, well, what else can we get them? What about the Portal? Sure, here's a Portal for the same people that bought this and this, that need this to use these things. And they're like, man, these are the most loyal people ever. If Sony at one point said none of these things work going forward, is Sony fans upset? They're like, nope, give me a PlayStation 6, give me a PlayStation VR 3, give me a Portal 2, because those are the loyal fans. But the industry doesn't care about you. They'll change whatever they do. If they know there's a bigger cash over here than here, then that's what they'll do. Business does business.
Their profits, but I think that's a bit of copium for those who are really trying to hang on to any sort of hope here that they're not going all third party. What this says to me, though, which is perhaps the biggest slap in the face of all, is that Xbox fans, you get to kind of beta test. You get the game at launch, you get all the patches as they gradually come out, and PlayStation 5 fans who didn't have to wait for, in many cases, you know I love Starfield, but for many people who didn't like Starfield, they get to wait on PlayStation until the expansion and a full year's worth of updates drop, and it's all packaged in together. Sure. And then here you go, PlayStation. And that perhaps no amount of money made can...
I know a lot of people think also that people are going to use the Xbox Game Pass as like a demo thing. That's a win, isn't it? If you're a Sony guy, right, or a Nintendo guy, and there's a game coming over, and you can play that game first on Game Pass, Xbox goes, yeah, it's on Game Pass first. And they come over and go, I'll give you $10. I'll give you $15 to try that game out, right? They have your money for that month. And then all of a sudden another game comes out and they're like, oh, wait, it's over here first and then it's coming over to PlayStation. So I'm going to give you another $15 next month to try that game out on Game Pass as a demo. And then I'm going to go over on PlayStation and then I'm going to I'll show you Xbox. I'm going to go buy it on PlayStation for full price after I just gave you $15 for that. And now they just made more money. Amazing.
Really help a consumer understand why you would do that to them if they're a supporter of your platform. They should be getting the best experience, and just like how PlayStation wisely does it, the people on PC just get the late experience. Continuing on, Xbox Era writes, as the already existing rumors have suggested, the idea of bringing first-party titles to competing console platforms marks a massive change in strategy for Microsoft, and from what I understand, it's not been without fierce internal debate on this new direction. Releasing Starfield on...
As the already existing rumors have suggested, the idea of bringing first-party titles to competing console platforms marks a massive change in strategy for Microsoft. From what I understand, it's not been without fears of internal debate and also new direction. Releasing Starfield on PlayStation 5 contradicts the original statement around exclusives made by President Xbox Sarah Bond. Okay, it's awesome to share with you, for the very first time, one of the most anticipated games of the world from Todd Howard and the team of Bethesda. A groundbreaking game, and yes, it's exclusive. Yes, until it's not, which I've also said in the past. It is until it isn't. That's not a false advertisement. That's not a false advertisement. It's exclusive. Yes, it was exclusive. And then it wasn't. You want to keep up with the Joneses? Get it here. And then it's everywhere else. Buy this thing here exclusively. And then it goes to other stores because it's less popular now. And they're like, yeah, the exclusivity is gone. That's not a lie.
PlayStation 5 contradicts the original statement around exclusivity made by President of Xbox Sarah Bond during the Xbox and Bethesda Game Studios Summer Showcase of 2021. Quote, it's awesome to share with you for the very first time one of the most anticipated...
El Dente says it. That doesn't say it's exclusive in perpetuity throughout the universes. Right. Maybe Earth 2. Maybe it's not exclusive there, or maybe it's still exclusive there.
Anticipated games in the world from Todd Howard and the team at Bethesda Game Studios, a groundbreaking game, and yes, it is exclusive. According to our sources, Microsoft's senior leadership team have reportedly debated the various pros and cons of releasing more of their exclusive software elsewhere and internally. Not everyone is necessarily happy with the decision, but recouping the potential money left.
There's the big word there. Right? Recouping the potential money left on the table. Me and Sarge say that all the time. Money left on the table. It's exclusive till it's not.
On the table by releasing elsewhere has arguably won out. What this says to me is prepare for shocking exits if this is the direction they're heading in, right? Because what it sounds like is from, I'd say...
I remember saying this when they first announced the Activision deal, before they even went through 2 years prior. And I said, of course their games are going to be on multi-platform because they have to recoup the money, okay? I said it could be exclusive. I said, but they're going to make it on all platforms because they want to make the money back as fast as possible. I don't know if you guys can count, but $69 billion is a lot of money to make back, okay? And you can't do that on 23 million consoles.
Like 20 really.
Even if you went out and sold an additional 100 million consoles, you still wouldn't make that $69 billion back because every console they sell is lost money in their pockets because most consoles are sold at a loss.
Start of Game Pass in a meaningful way and on was like the Phil Spencer vision. And I think a lot of that did get held back. I'm not making excuses. A lot of that did get held back by like the wait for merging and acquisition.
But you know how you do make money? You make money because you're not making a disc. It's a digital freaking object, and you're sending it to the masses across any platform they want to play. And you make that much more money because you're not shipping out a disc, a container, an instruction manual, all right? You're not putting it in a shelf. You're not spending gas to get that thing over there. You're literally downloading it digitally across the world, anytime, anywhere you want.
Positions and what would result from that. And this sounds like, hey, Phil, taking the wheel here. That's not working. And we are leaving lots of money on the table. We're making money at Xbox, but we could be making more and more money. So we're taking the wheel and we're going to steer it from here. And when it's no longer your vision, I'm not saying that Phil Spencer will leave. Who knows about that? But I think major faces at Xbox will leave as a result of this. When they stood on those stages in 2018 and 2019 announcing...
Did he just say... I want to rewind that for a second.
And we're going to steer it from here. And when it's no longer your vision, I'm not saying that Phil Spencer will leave. Who knows about that? But I think major faces at Xbox will leave as a result of this. When they stood on those stages in 2018 and 2019, announcing the acquisition of the likes of Obsidian and In Exile, Compulsion Games, Playground Games, and so on, they said that they're looking to build like a big first-party portfolio. When you make that commitment during an era of PlayStation 4 exclusive dominance thanks to first party, the message is sent that you're trying to do what they're doing, and to now switch that out and pivot away from what traditional gaming has been can either be some of the most clarifying.
That's the statement there. What traditional gaming has been. And that's the problem everyone's stuck on. Traditional, right? Technology and advancements exponentially happen, and the world keeps moving, and the things keep happening. Just a couple years ago, there wasn't self-driving cars. Now there is, okay? Just before, we used to have voice machines, right? Answering machines with tapes inside them. There used to be pagers, okay? There used to be fax machines, okay? Technology moves and changes. Traditional is not traditional anymore. It's a completely different beast now in this industry.
Clairvoyant shit we'll see in gaming if Xbox ends up winning out, and this is where everyone else is heading much sooner than we actually realize, and they're just getting ahead of the curve, or an absolutely destructive turn that will destroy the entire brand itself and naturally lead to the exit of many people and potentially, I wouldn't say that
they're not getting ahead of the curve. They are the curve. Microsoft is the curve. They are the leaders of this new era of what gaming might become. It's a big risk, but they're trying to get there first because they have the infrastructure that can do it.
Death of Xbox, because Microsoft is a $3 trillion company, but optically, yeah, this could spell the death of it, which we'll see how much of an impact that has on the bottom line. But when you have big third-party games like Call of Duty...
Optically the death, but not the actual death, just optically.
Does the Xbox brand association matter as much when people just buy Call of Duty without thinking at all? It's just some food for thought, but I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts nonetheless on all of this, ladies and gentlemen, because it has been a pretty interesting week thus far. Naturally, the story will develop.
Why is he so somber? I like Matty.
We'll see come, I'm guessing, next Monday. It's crazy they're waiting a week, but...
It's like they stole his puppy from him. It's like he's sad and somber, like someone... I don't want to joke about someone's death, but it's like someone just passed. Like, you know, like, yep, here it goes. So sad that more people get to play Xbox, even though he's been saying it for multiple years in the open. More games for more people on more places. And then when more games come to more places for more people, everyone's like, it's happening. There's more games coming to more places for more people. They always call Phil Spencer a liar, and then when he actually says the truth, people are like, it's happening. Yeah, they did. I think they took his puppy. I think that's what everyone's doing. I think the Xbox fans, I saw people like, their whole channel revolves around Xbox, and they think their channel's done. Like, okay, but the sky is falling. He's trying to act sympathetic for Xbox fans, I guess. Jojo, well, between Xbox being dead and Skull and Bones the craziest might leave Suicide Squad alone. That's right. They might just leave us alone. Are they crying real tears? Yeah, there's literal channels out there that base their whole YouTube channel on Xbox, and they think it's over for Xbox. And I don't understand. Because even if Xbox stops selling consoles, the people that are playing Xbox right now are excited because stop me if I'm wrong here, but if you're an Xbox user, anytime you see a Xbox game announced or a third-party game announced, your first question out of your mouth for the last 2 years is that coming to Game Pass, right? Is that coming to Game Pass? Last time I checked, you don't need a console to have Game Pass, right? Last time I checked, every Xbox owner's like, coming to Game Pass. That's coming to Game Pass. Coming to Game Pass? Is that game coming to Game Pass? And now they're like, console might be going away. Rumors, obviously, right? And they're like, it's over. It's over. It's like, what the hell just changed? Like, if a game comes out, you can still ask the question, they're coming to Game Pass? Water's like, time to go blue, bro.